Welcome to Teen Up, a podcast that digs deeper into the thoughts of teenagers' minds about the wonders of the world.
If you're new here, I am your host, Isabella.
And I'm Glenn. If you're not, welcome back.
Here's a quick disclaimer. If we made any mistakes, please email us and tell us. Thank you.
When talking about depth of ocean knowledge, we can't forget the ocean activities and beliefs built on the idea of the ocean around the globe. Perhaps one of our listeners can surf or bodyboard, and another might like water skiing. Anyways, today we're talking about surfing and some superstitions about the ocean.
Okay, so surfing. Have you ever tried surfing?
I have not.
I have once, and I fell into the water, and I gave up. Anyways, surfing. So I'm just going to talk about like the history of surfing, which is pretty interesting. The oldest type of surfing is called body surfing, which is basically the same thing as swimming, like using your body as the kind of like the board to catch the wave. So it's basically very much just swimming.
Mm-hmm.
So the oldest history that people have found is from the ancient cultures of Peru, and that was about 5,000 years ago. So they would use a watercraft for fishing or for recreation like surfing, and basically it's like a surfboard. Oh, and when they use that surfboard, they would also stand up on it and for recreation and both for fishing. This basically influences what is now today modern surfing because it is pretty much the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
They also found that surfing connects with Hawaii a lot, and in Tahiti and Samoa, surfing was like a popular thing that people used to do, like warriors training, which is pretty cool because right now surfing is not something that we see as a brave thing or like a warrior like activity. Yeah. And Hawaiians refer to surfing as wave sliding, which is a pretty cool name, I would say. So back then, when they thought of this as like a warrior training thing, they also think that the ocean is a very mysterious place, which makes a lot of sense because, the ocean is really vast and basically when you look at it, there's no ending to it, right?
Right.
So, yeah, the Hawaiians would pray to the gods for protection and strength to undertake the powerful, mystifying ocean, and then they would go out to surf. Yeah.
So it was originally kind of like a religious thing.
Yeah, I guess like a religious activity. But, it's kind of like similar to how Taiwanese fishermen, before they go out, they would kind of, I don't know, do they pray or something?
I think so.
Yeah, to make sure that they get back safely or something like that. Yeah. And all of this like warrior training thing was pre-contact Hawaii, which means like before the Europeans got to Hawaii. And surfing, the way surfing was viewed was changed as Hawaii got colonized and Europeans changed the meaning of surfing. And it was around the start of the 20th century that Hawaiians started to use their beaches to revive surfing, because when the Europeans got here, they sort of banned surfing since that Europeans were Christians, right? And they thought that, when they surf, they don't wear a lot of clothes. So they thought of this as something bad. And so they kind of banned surfing, this activity. And so Hawaiians couldn't do what they wanted to. But after the start of the 20th century, they started to revive surfing as a sport instead of what they used to see it as like a spiritual connection to the waves or something.
Okay.
Yeah. And right now, when you think of Hawaii or like California, the first thing that comes to your mind is basically surfing because they've also kind of linked this to tourism and trying to boost the economy around these areas. Okay, now moving on to pro surfing. So professional surfing is an extreme sport, which is very agreeable because you don't know what would happen on the ocean. And there are basically three main aspects to see professional surfing. And professional surfing usually is used to, for the pros to make money, and they would do it through sponsorships, surf contests, and social media influence. So these are the three things that they would really look into, and most of the professional surfers would go for three of them, and sometimes well-known professionals excel in only one. And back in all the way 1961, the United States Surfing Association was made, and surfing got more and more popular.
Yeah, I think it's actually pretty interesting because, like, when people say, oh, my job is like surfing, and I was like, how do you make money like with surfing? Because I know, like, now you can make money with social media, like being on YouTube or on Instagram, whatever, and you would have like sponsors. But I'm just thinking about, like, what about before? Can people like earn money from surfing? Like, that was pretty weird to me. And also like skating.
Oh yeah, skating too.
Like when people say they're a skater, I'll be like, that's weird.
Like you would think of skating as like a side job or like a side hobby.
No discrimination against those people. It's just we don't know how it works.
Yeah, for sure. I think this also this mindset also fits in with a lot of different extreme sports. Like when you tell someone that your main thing you do in life is train for the marathon. Like how do you make money out of that? Or yeah, a lot of extreme sports like that, and or bikers. Those bikers that do really cool flips and tricks. Yeah, I think they are all pretty much the same. Okay, now moving on to the technological improvements of like surfing. So when you think of surfing, like at first when I saw this piece of information, I was like, how is it possible for people to have improvements in surfing for their skills? Because basically there's just a surfboard and you. Like, what do you mean? So I found that surfers, like their boards are really like made specifically for themselves. Most of the surfers themselves would know how to make surfboards or how to mend them, or how to make it their own surfboards.
Oh.
Yeah, so they would create their own technologies that they think would greatly improve their surfing skills due to the differences in different boards. And another great improvement is the wetsuit, which is the thing that they wear when they go surfing. And apparently, the history of surfing could easily be divided between pre-wetsuit and post-wetsuit, because it made more surfing places available to the people because they could, use the sweatsuit to prevent from their bodies getting too cold in certain places. And now they could surf in colder places. And also, some boards, like the surfboards, could be made by fiberglass, which we talked about if you don't know what fiberglass is. And that is pretty cool. And they also have these better vehicles to carry them to further places to surf and look for more extreme weathers to surf. After the break, we're going to talk about superstitions of the ocean.
Welcome back. Now we're going to talk about superstitions about the ocean.
Okay, so you know how the ocean is like something that people often is afraid of? I am personally scared to go into the water when I am at the beach. It just feels like the ocean is so big and it can't be controlled by people. Yeah, but the ocean is also a place that provides a lot of benefits for humans, right? It gives people fish and a lot of resources that we cannot get from land. And it is a place full of life. But of course, since the ocean is basically a big place that we can't understand completely, or it is completely unknown to us. There are a lot of superstitions built upon this concept of the ocean.
Right.
Okay, so the first one is, which is really strange, is apparently bananas.
Mm-hmm.
When sailors or people that go on sea very often, they would never put bananas onto their vessels because apparently their peels present the possibility of sailors slipping and sliding along the deck.
Right.
And I don't know, probably dying from that. And the other thing is that bananas, they spoil really easily because they would like release a deadly toxin that could kill the sailors, and also that a lot of insects would hide within the banana bunches, and that would pose threats to sailors.
Right. Okay, this one's very weird.
Mm-hmm.
So does it mean that people don't bring bananas on boats?
I think so. Or maybe like for longer journeys, they wouldn't.
Okay, this one's weird.
Yeah. I mean, shouldn't this be like the same thing with airplanes?
But you wouldn't slip on an airplane and then
Fall out of the airplane.
you could die anywhere with slipping, but like it's not particularly a airplane thing. It'd be pretty cool though, falling out of an airplane. Wait, no.
Yeah. No, why?
It's actually kind of normal.
What do you mean?
It's just like skydiving.
I mean, but when you jump out of an airplane without parachutes, that's not normal.
You're dead.
Yes, very much so. Okay, now this second superstition is the boat's name. Like, I never understood really why all boats have names.
Mm-hmm.
You know how in like movies they would say, oh, this boat is called blah, blah, blah. And they would be very careful with treating the boat
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
kind of like it has its own life. So apparently, it is a terrible, terrible thing to change the name of the boat that you own because it could lead to your boat breaking or something negative might happen to your journey on the ocean. So boats, to the sailors, are known to develop a life and a mind of their own. But I personally don't understand this. Like, why do boats have their own life? What about like cars or houses?
Some people value their car a lot.
Yeah, that's true. Like some cars are like 20, 30 years old.
But it's like super normal for people to be obsessed with boats. Be like, oh, my boat, something, something, something.
I would say that it is also related to like how they got back safely from their trip in the sea.
Yeah, I guess. And also how like they always say it like she, you know? Like calling a boat she.
Does it have anything to do with like Mother Nature?
I don't know. It's just something that's weird, and I'm not sure, like I saw it somewhere in a movie. Like somebody's pet peeve is when you call a boat she.
Oh, really?
I don't get why everyone does that. It's so specific and weird at the same time.
I don't know. Maybe we could try to be a sailor. I don't think it, I think it's also kind of like a cultural thing. Like everyone does it, and it would be weird if you don't. I don't know. Okay. Anyways, so when you want to name your boat, it can only happen on the 15th of August after a strict ritual is followed. For some reason, August 15th is the day that you should be careful of.
So you can only name your boat on that day?
I think so.
So you would only have one day to name your boat.
It's kind of like, I would say it's kind of like waiting for your baby to get born. Like you wouldn't give your baby in the womb a name at an early stage. I don't know. Okay, so the ritual here is the seafarers will write the current vessel's name and place the paper into a wooden box and then burn the box. And after you burn the box, you would have to throw the ashes into the ocean. And this is one type of ritual. And another ritual is that the boat must be renamed while sailing close to the wind whilst making a series of short zigzag tracks.
Mm-hmm.
And the boat would have to be able to go exactly downwind. And this is related to like snakes taking a zigzag path and when it eats its own tail. So I guess these are the rituals for renaming your vessels.
Okay. So you can rename your vessels, but you need to go through a ritual.
Yeah. I mean, which I kind of understand. Like the burning the box, I would say it's kind of like killing the vessel's identity and giving it back into the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on. I think this one is very easy to understand. So, you know how dolphins are always like a good sign? And that is the same thing for sailors. So when you go out to sail, when you see dolphins swimming around your boat, that means something good will happen. And the opposite of that is sharks. So when you see sharks, that means something bad might happen. And this last one here is a superstition about women, which I find very weird. So women used to be banned from boats like long time ago. Right now, I don't think anyone believes in this rule anymore. But back then, they weren't able to go on boats. And this was because the ancient people believed that women were considered witches and they would bring storms and disasters to the boat. Which I think it makes sense because back then, women with a lot of knowledge weren't thought to be witches because women shouldn't know that many things.
Okay, this is just discrimination against women.
I know.
But like, isn't it so weird that they think it's a bad thing for women to be on boats?
Mm-hmm.
And they call the boat itself a woman.
Oh.
Like, this is so contradicting.
Maybe it's kind of like, you know how women would have to carry babies until they birth them? It's kind of like the boat is carrying these men safely to their destination.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it's kind of like the boat resembles a mother, kind of, I don't know. This is just what I think. Okay. However, besides all that discrimination against women, naked women on board were seen as good luck. Now, for me, I think this is just sexist. Like, they thought that naked women were able to calm the sea. Or, I don't know, naked women were able to calm the sailors. I don't know. And this explains why a lot of ships and yachts would have a figure of topless women on their boats. You know how like a lot of pirate ships, I don't know if this is just like my stereotype of pirate ships, but they would always have a statue in the front or in the back, and it's always a woman.
Really? I do not know that.
So for the sailors, they think that these figures, bare breasts, were able to shame the stormy seas into calm, and her eyes would guide the sailors to safety, which is really strange. I don't get it. People in the past have weird thoughts about women.
Mm-hmm. I know. Like, they assume a lot of things with women,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and it's just really, really weird and unsettling in a way.
Yeah, like, I don't know why women... It's not like I don't know why women can't speak up for themselves, like, because I know they would probably, like, get beaten up or something, but I just don't know why men would have so much assumptions about women when they know nothing about them.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's still happening now.
Yeah, I literally cannot. Okay, this is getting off topic. I was about to say feminist. Okay.
We're not going to get into that today. Not that it's not important. It's just not on topic.
Yeah. Okay. So even though the ocean is vast and unpredictable, we should still be able to appreciate the benefits it gives us, like all those superstitions to avoid disasters, still, the ocean brings us food and resources. The ocean has so much that we still don't understand, and the superstitions or beliefs that we mentioned above were the ways that people try to make sense of the ocean. And as our second episode mentioned of ocean technologies, are ways that scientists use to understand the ocean better. Next month, we're going to talk about parenting and kids' relationships. Thank you for listening to this episode.
We will upload a new episode every Thursday.
Remember to like, follow, and share our podcasts with your friends and family. You could also share your idea and thoughts with us on our Instagram at teenup.podcast.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share our channel.
Thank you and bye.